Welcome back to the TheSlamDuncan YouTube channel. Hope everyone's staying healthy during this time. But as of right now, what I want to talk about is a player that is very controversial amongst Bulls fans, and that is Lauri Markkanen. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about why the Chicago Bulls need to be extremely careful with what they do with Lauri Markkanen for his future. But before we get into that, though, make sure you leave a like on this video. Also, if you're new to the channel, and especially if you're a Bulls fan, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But let's get into this. So, as you can see right now up on the screen, I have brought up Lauri Markkanen's stats in his first 3 years. And, just looking from, rookie year to this year. Rookie year, Lauri Markkanen had a very solid rookie year, and I was thoroughly impressed with what Markkanen did that year. Sophomore year, he took a really big jump, and I was like, wow, Markkanen could be that guy to potentially be an all-star like his 4th year in the league, and probably be averaging a double-double. And I was thinking maybe he is the next Dirk Nowitzki, and I was thoroughly impressed. This year has been an absolute just downhill year for Markkanen. It's career lows across the board, and it's been pretty bad this season for Markkanen. Now, a lot of what Markkanen struggles has to deal with is Boylen's very, very bad offense. Boylen's offense basically just used Markkanen as a catch-and-shoot guy, and he basically stood in the corner constantly and did not move off the ball, which is very critical because Markkanen needs to be moving off the ball a lot for him to be effective, and we've seen that in his first 2 years. This year, though, has got me really concerned. But most of the year, I was thinking this is basically just because Boylen's offense just does not have any post-ups, doesn't use any floppy action, doesn't set any down screens for Markkanen to come off of, and doesn't use Markkanen really in the pick and roll effectively. Now, there is a part of me, though, that keeps showing up a lot. And while Markkanen really struggled this year, and a lot of it has to do with Boylen's terrible offense and Boylen taking away all of his confidence, there comes a point in time with me where I look at a player, and for you to truly be like an all-star, a leader of a squad, especially on the offensive end, you need to have, at times, and when the offense is not doing anything well, you have to take over by yourself and say, everyone get out of the way, give me the ball, let me go to work, let me take over this game. And Markkanen did not do that this season at all. And when I look at Zach LaVine this season, Zach LaVine's averaging 25.5 points in one of the worst offenses in the league. And while this offense doesn't actually really benefit Zach in any way besides him being an isolation player and him having to take every single shot because the offense is so bad, Zach LaVine still had that killer instinct and that leadership mentality of saying, everyone out of the way, give me the ball, let me take over this game. And Zach has shown that he can be a leader on the offensive end. And even though Markkanen is in a terrible offense that does not benefit him in any sort of way, he still could have done that this season. And I know he dealt with a bunch of injuries, and he dealt with Boylen not giving him any confidence or whatsoever. Markkanen still could have said, get out of the way, give me the ball, let me take over, and he just did not do that this season, and that concerns me. So now comes a point in time for now the newly hired executive Karnisovas to make a really tough decision with Markkanen. And if we don't know right now, this is actually a lot more difficult than what Bulls fans actually think. So looking at the salary for the Chicago Bulls, Lauri Markkanen is currently in his 3rd year right now. Next season is going to be his last year of his rookie contract. So this means a couple of things. He can either sign an extension the Bulls give him at the beginning of next season. He can just not do anything, technically, and become a restricted free agent. Or he can sign a qualifying offer for the following season, the 21-22 season, that is a 1-year deal. It's a risk for him, but it also has a no-trade clause attached to that 1-year deal, and he can become an unrestricted free agent after that season. So, Markkanen, as of right now, the way I look at it, Markkanen has some serious leverage. And with reports coming out of Markkanen saying that he is not very happy with how the organization is being run, and he wants changes for him to actually stay, and now that changes are being made, I'm still questioning if Markkanen really actually wants to stay here. And it's critical for the new head coach, hopefully, that Karnisovas hires to use Markkanen effectively. But that also brings up this season. Even though Markkanen had a terrible season because of Boylan's horrible offense, he just still didn't show that killer mentality of what an all-star brings to the table. And with him being strictly just an offensive player, that concerns me. Because he cannot contribute on the defensive end whatsoever. So, Karnisovas has a serious choice to make here. And he has some options on the table, but as each year goes on, he loses leverage in the situation. So, for example, let's say Markkanen actually wants out, and next season he shows that, well, I got better this season, but I'm not at all-star level yet. But let's say he's averaging like 17 points per game and averaging 8 rebounds in a better offense suited for him, but it's still not showing like he can be an all-star type player. He still has the leverage in that situation because Karnisovas, technically, if he didn't give Lauri that contract extension at the beginning of the year, he can't extend him until the offseason. And even if, let's say, Markkanen's upset next season, he could still sign a qualifying offer the following season and then become an unrestricted free agent and go wherever he wants to after that next season. So it's very, very tough with what Karnisovas is dealing with here and whether he should keep Markkanen or actually trade Markkanen, because if you look at what Karnisovas' teams have been over the past years with the Denver Nuggets, he brought in Paul Millsap to be the power forward alongside Jokic. Now he has Jeremy Grant alongside Jokic. And Jeremy Grant and Paul Millsap, they're not, 7-footers, but they're very athletic, especially Jeremy Grant. They defend very well. They defend multiple positions. They shoot the three, and they can fade back to the three-point line in any pick-and-pop situations. Not to mention, they're very, very smart in the cut game, so they can find openings within the defense because of their IQ. Markkanen is just not Paul Millsap or Jeremy Grant. He doesn't have the agility, doesn't have the quickness, doesn't have the defense, and he doesn't have the post-up games that of Paul Millsap, and Jeremy Grant doesn't really have a post-up game, but Markkanen, he doesn't have Jeremy Grant's athleticism. So, Karnisovas technically doesn't always value a guy like Markkanen. Now, you're probably thinking like, well, Markkanen can kind of be what Jokic is with the Denver Nuggets. Like, you can move Markkanen to center and have him be kind of like the point center that can also shoot the three ball, that can set the pick and roll screen and, kind of run the offense as well. Here's the thing. I personally do not think Markkanen can be what Jokic is with the Denver Nuggets, and there's a couple reasons why. One, Markkanen, I don't think he can play center in this league. I don't think he could be a solidified starting center in this league. And Lauri Markkanen has shown that he gets bullied by just smaller power forwards than him that are, much smaller and not as heavy as him, and he still gets bullied. So I don't think he has the strength to play the center position every single night. I don't think he has the defense to play the center position every single night. Nor does I don't think he has the post game right now to play the center position every single night. So, and not to mention that Markkanen just does not have Jokic's IQ or passing IQ ability. So I don't think Markkanen can slide down to that center spot and we get rid of Wendell, because Markkanen just doesn't have the defense. He doesn't have the rebounding skills. Doesn't have the strength. Nor does he have the passing ability of a Jokic. And Carter Jr. brings that defense, even though he's undersized. He brings the defense. He can do a lot more offensively than what people actually think. But the main thing with Carter is that he is also more versatile. And in today's NBA game, you need to be very, very versatile at your position. And Markkanen just can't do that on the defensive end, and he's strictly just an offensive player. So he doesn't bring any value to the defense. And if he's not bringing any value to the offense, that's concerning. And if you're Karnisovas, do you really want to pay Markkanen like a max rookie extension deal and him not bringing anything on one side of the ball, but could potentially not even turn into an all-star? I think Markkanen is going to be a solidified starter in this league, but he may not turn into an all-star, and that's where things get tricky. Now, another thing I want to bring up is that the Bulls right now, if you look, they currently have only $65 million on the books for the 2021-22 season. And if we if you don't know, the 2021 free agency class is a big class. It is loaded with superstars. Just throwing names out there like Giannis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. They're all available. And Giannis, for example, would play that forward position that Markkanen plays right now. And the Bulls had the money to sign a guy like that. But they could potentially have 2 max free agent slots in the 2021 offseason. Even with Zach LaVine on the roster, they still have enough money. Now, the thing is that the Bulls can ruin that 2 max free agent slots if they give Markkanen a big rookie extension contract at the start of next season. So, if you're Karnisovas, do you want to trust Markkanen to become an all-star and pay him that money that he's going to want and demand? Or do you take the risk of not paying Markkanen because he's not a solidified all-star yet, but go after solidified superstars in free agency, but you also take the risk of not actually getting those guys in free agency? So it's a really tough decision, and there's so many pros and cons in each side. But Karnisovas has got to make a serious decision with Markkanen. Basically, it could start this offseason because Markkanen's trade value could go down at the start of next season because he's going to be on the last year of his deal. Not to mention, if, let's say, he decides to sign the qualifying offer, then Karnisovas can't trade Markkanen because that qualifying offer is going to be a 1-year deal, and that 1-year deal has a no-trade clause. So Karnisovas has to either trade Markkanen if he wants to trade Markkanen this coming offseason, and the NBA draft for this coming offseason has some pretty decent power forwards available, or he has to trade him the next season before the trade deadline, or else Markkanen is either going to become a restricted free agent, but he could also potentially sign that qualifying offer and threaten to leave the organization if he's not paid enough money. So, big decisions right now for Karnisovas, even though he just became the new head executive for the Chicago Bulls. Now, personally with me, I have to say, as I love Markkanen, I think he has the potential to become an all-star caliber player. However, I personally just don't think he has the mindset to do it. And that could change, obviously. I mean, if the NBA season starts up again and he can show me something different, and let's say Karnisovas decides to risk it, Markkanen could technically show me in his 4th year that he has the mentality to be an all-star. But while I understand that Boylen's terrible offense ruined Markkanen's offensive game this season, there are still points where even under a terrible offense, if you're really going to be an all-star caliber player that is going to be a leader on the offensive end, you need to just tell everybody in the team, get out of the way, give me the ball, let me do my thing. And that would show me that he can be a true leader. But at this point, he hasn't shown me that. And not to mention, he's a one-sided player. He only contributes on the offensive end, and he can't play on the defensive end very well. And I'm going to bring up one last point here, and it's a very, very big point. For a guy like Markkanen in today's NBA game, as a 7-footer that can't really move very quickly, I think it's very, very important for him to play as a center, but as I brought up earlier, he just doesn't have the intangibles to play as a center. If you look at, I always bring up this example when I'm talking to people about Markkanen. Like, a lot of people brought up Markkanen and Kristaps Porzingis when Markkanen first came into the league. If you look at what Kristaps Porzingis did this season as the power forward and Dwight Powell playing the center position, Porzingis at times struggled because Porzingis doesn't have that overall strength just yet to go after smaller guys at the 4 spot, but he also doesn't have that agility to play the 4 spot in today's NBA game. Now, as bad as that Powell injury was, and I think Dwight Powell is a very solid player, but when he tore his Achilles, Porzingis moved to the center position. And if you haven't noticed, Kristaps Porzingis has played fantastic at the center position. But what makes him different and capable of playing the center position is the fact that he's a 7'3" center that has the ability to defend the rim effectively and is more athleticism, really, than Lauri Markkanen. And not to mention, the 7'3" height also helps his ability to rebound the ball. And I think he has a better post-up game than Markkanen and a better passing game than Markkanen. So it's really tough for me to be like, yeah, Markkanen can play the center position just as well as Porzingis, but Markkanen also just doesn't have these things checked off that Porzingis has checked off. So that's where I get concerned with Markkanen trying to be the power forward for the Bulls' future, especially because the fact that if you have Markkanen at the power forward position, that means there's going to be a center on the defensive side of the ball for the opposing team, always going to be camped in the paint. And Markkanen at this point in time has shown that he can't always finish over 7-footers that protect the rim. So he has to be put in the center spot so that rim protector is away from the rim. But I don't think he has the ability to play the center position at an every night basis. So the more I think about it, the more I think Karnisovas actually is really actually going to consider moving Markkanen so he can get value back before he starts demanding some big money that he may not deserve at that time, and or get value back before he actually decides to leave the organization as a whole. So those are my thoughts with Lauri Markkanen and why the Bulls need to be really careful with what they do with Markkanen in the future. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Also, as I said before, subscribe to my channel if you're new, especially if you're a Bulls fan. Follow me on Twitter at Duncan_White14. And also, leave in the comment section down below on what you think the Chicago Bulls should do with Lauri Markkanen.